This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, good morning. Welcome on to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. There I am. Hi, I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson here in the Weather Center. Like how I kind of went, there I am. Like, I don't know. Anyways, point is, welcome on to the First Alert Weather Breakdown here at KSLA News 12. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson, co-host with CJ Cartledge, who does usually the other half of the shows. Now, to be fair, lately, if you've kind of noticed over the past 2 or 3 weeks, it hasn't exactly equivalated to half the shows, at least from his point of view, so to speak. He's been kind of doing 1 or 2 shows per week. That's just based on kind of the weather schedule around here. Sometimes he gets called to do other stuff, so to speak. But we try to get him on when we can, when he is on the midday shift and can be able to run this First Alert with a Breakdown podcast. But the point is, hi, I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. I usually do this podcast every weekday, 10:30, talking just about weather. Weather, I wouldn't say alone, but you get the basis. We're just expanding on the weather here all around the ArkLaTex. So thank you. Welcome all. Welcome on. Welcome all. I always wanted to kind of describe my Friday shows as kind of, I don't know, let the most loose, the most limber, kind of the most easygoing. I mean, podcast is supposed to be easygoing, first and foremost, a little more lenient than the strictness of on air, just being on air essentially. But yeah, we're in the podcast setting. Not only is it lenient overall, but I think just for Friday standards, hey, we're lay back, relaxed. Maybe that wasn't your mood this morning with the rain around, especially if you were going out to work. But regardless, we'll see how this goes. Because usually, again, not only is this the end of my week, this is the end of my weekend, and sometimes Friday brain takes over. So we're gonna try to not do that, and just get through this podcast. So yeah, take a sip of water. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the weather. I was going to say enjoy the flight, but yeah, anyways. All right, so let's talk about what we're talking about here for the day today. Obviously, we're going over a full local forecast in store for you on the First Alert with a Breakdown, as we always do. On top of that, we have a regional weekend forecast that we always like to do here on Fridays. Going outside of the ArkLaTex, for those of you traveling and seeing if you're going to be running into any bumps, any bruises, anything out of the ordinary that could get us into trouble here outside of the ArkLaTex. So let's take a look outside now at our Window World camera here in Texarkana. Look at that. Blue skies finally starting to come on through after a very rainy morning, I will say. This started in the overnight hours in areas of the northern half of the ArkLaTex, mainly Texarkana, way early this morning. Again, we're talking like 4 or 5 in the morning. It's been raining here mostly in the early morning hours, but it's definitely stopped here as of right now. And the same thing for Shreveport and Bossier. We've cleared out pretty much all of our wet weather as well, as we had a little light drizzle to light rain ongoing for a good portion of your morning as well. But everybody seems to be getting all out and about here for the time being. Here's the weather headlines. We do still have some lingering around here at this hour, but we're just squeezing the last little bits from this round that is coming on through with a cold front that will be cooling us down here for the day today, but just for today. For the weekend, we quickly heat back up with mainly lots of sunshine, but I do have a rain icon in for the weekend because it is not going to be completely dry. We will get some stray bits of rain here coming on through, and we'll talk about that as well coming on up. Now, as for next week, unfortunately, there's more rain coming back. It just seems like it's just round after round and after round and after round. You get the point. Honestly, it's kind of making me tired. Not only am I tired just for Friday standards, but it just kind of want to break with the sunshine. You know, I was talking about this with somebody. There's no happy medium. You know, if you have too much sunshine, then it's like, well, where's the rain? I need to water my plants, that kind of thing. But if it has too much rain, then you just get waterlogged, which is kind of in our state right now because it's been raining here consistently over the last several days to some degree. Thankfully, tomorrow, a completely dry day is in store, but again, even that's not even going to last throughout the weekend. Not going to lie, don't know why my weather graphics just decided to jump to that random graphic there, but let me fix that here real quick. This is karma. Like, I was kind of going to go ahead, I was going to say how the stream was going to be smooth. We're going to not have any Friday bumps, bruises, but already I feel like, I don't know, I'm not talking at 100%, not feeling this is not my best game. Not my best game put forward, I guess, so to speak. And case in point, the graphics just went to traffic graphics for some reason. Anyways, first alert Doppler radar. We are continuing to keep your first alert and making sure that the rain is sweeping out of here. Thankfully, again, no severe weather has been caused from this round of rain at all. Received a comment on Facebook earlier this morning, says they got shaken out of their boots and out of their chair from lightning in the early morning hours this morning. This system was very impressive, I will say, earlier this morning. It was very impressive as it was rolling across northeast Texas, southeastern Oklahoma. Still not impressive enough to give us any severe alerts, like for hail or strong winds, thankfully. But we have had lots of intense, heavy rainfall early on when the system was coming on through, and gradually as it has pushed through the ArkLaTex, it's been steadily weakening, and honestly, that's just what we have left, and that's the stuff that's exiting the region. So overall, East Texas, you're pretty much completely dried up, and once you're dried up, you're dry for the rest of today. That's the best thing of all. You get to enjoy the rest of your Friday rain-free. Meanwhile, just stray little rain bits going through Columbia County in our last southwestern Arkansas County here for now. As for Louisiana, it's just on our eastern edge, Jonesboro, Ruston, and even then, they're just getting light rain. A little bit of light rain around Hall Summit, a little bit of drizzle maybe around Natchitoches, maybe on the south side of Sabine Parish. That's it. That's the point. We're not getting too much working back into the ArkLaTex at all. And not much to worry about. This is just the last little bit of rain before you're completely drying up by lunchtime. That cold front's moved now definitely off to our south side of the ArkLaTex. That needs to be updated. But the point is, we had a cold front come through here early on this morning, and look what's behind it. Nice dry air that's coming out of Oklahoma and Texas. That's going to clear the skies and give us lots of sunshine here for the day today. But look off to our west. I actually want to go ahead and use a scientific explainer to see what's happening, not just in the short term, but in the long term thing. So again, as I discussed in the short term, what's happening in the short term is that we had the cold front come on by. In fact, I'm going to do this here live on air. I'm going to update y'all to let you see where this actual low pressure system is, because I can detail it out here for you so you can see me actively moving the low pressure system. It's more towards right there. That's not really, I guess, that essential to know. But what you do need to know is where this front is now located. And I can go ahead and move this to where you can definitely see it on the radar picture in this vicinity. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit save. But yeah, you get to, that's another thing that's pretty cool. You get to see me kind of do behind the scenes is see me move a cold front actively on your screen. So that's where it was earlier this morning. It was off to our north and west, but now it's passed on through, as most of the rain is pretty much gone. And now what we're left with is just a little bit of last lingering little cloud cover on through before we do get dry air that's going to be working out of Oklahoma and northern Texas. So for the short term, we're getting sunny skies here for the rest of today. Again, that's essentially coming out of Oklahoma, rolling into the ArkLaTex, and it's going to give us a nice dry break at least for tomorrow as well, with some cooler temperatures. I mean, we get northerly breezes working down in here to push that cold front and that moisture out of here finally to give us a substantial break for at least a day and a half. It's better than just a day or half a day. But I do want to turn your attention out westward, because let's talk long-term things of what's going to happen. And guess what? We can involve something with the tropics to discuss something that's going to be happening in our weather pattern next week. Low pressure and cold front. Again, you can still see it on our satellite picture. That's just roamed through the region right now. But the issue is the cold front is only going through Texas. The point is it's not going through Mexico. If you notice, there's still plenty of moisture being tailored through the country of Mexico and continuing to go up the cold front, essentially, up along the line. The point of me saying that the fact that the cold front is only going through Texas and through us here in the ArkLaTex is that this cold front is only going to push away the moisture out of Texas and out of Louisiana. It's not going to push away the moisture that's continuing to plume up through Mexico and Texas. That's being controlled, stick with me here, that's being controlled by a low-pressure system that we have across the southwest corner of the United States. If you notice the rotation of that system, I'm going to go ahead and give you a little explainer here. The rotation has us, hold up, I'm going to do something real quick. Can I do this? Sorry, I'm actually doing this on the fly. I didn't even plan this for the podcast, but it was like, this is a cool lesson. I wish I had a marker. Do I have a marker as part of these tools? Asking myself these questions on the fly, guys. It's a Friday. I'm just trying to use. I feel like there's a way to pinpoint things and write things down with like a marker or something. Let's see here. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. I know you're already being patient. Like buffering, Evan's buffering on his forecast. I don't think there's a way I can point. Maybe this. Ah, look at that. Beautiful. I figured it out. Just took a little patience. Thank y'all. So the point of what I'm trying to get at is that this is moving upward. That system out of Mexico is continuing to move northward regardless of the cold front coming on through. So it's going to move the moisture out of Texas, out of Louisiana, out of the ArkLaTex to dry us up briefly. But the moisture out of Mexico is continuing to go northward, and that's not going to get impacted by this cold front because this low pressure system is rotating in this direction. It's rotating, if I'm doing this correctly, on my camera. No, other way. Yes, rotating like this. There you go. It's rotating like that. I let you see it by the arrow there on your screen. Low pressure is rotating counterclockwise, as it always does, and it helps with that wind direction to push that moisture from Mexico further up northward. You can see the two arrows lining up. Again, because that low pressure system is forcing all the moisture out of Mexico to still move northward, regardless of that cold front. So what's going to happen is all this moisture is going to be replenished back in Texas and Oklahoma, and we actually have severe weather chances in areas like northern Texas and Oklahoma around Monday and Tuesday of next week. And guess where that goes? Our neck of the woods here on Wednesday. Not only that, I want to use one more thing before we get on with the forecast here. I want to move this southward because this is actually tailored to the tropics, believe it or not. This is a look at Tropical Storm Alvin. You may have seen that on the news, here KSLA News 12, or seen it on any merch program. This is our first tropical system of the entire year. Tropical Storm Alvin formed in the Pacific Ocean. As of last check, I believe it's got winds around 60 miles an hour. That might not stand true. I looked at that early this morning. That might be false, but I believe it is still a tropical storm here at this time. It is not dissipated, but it is expected to dissipate over the weekend, mainly because it's rolling over colder waters that are just not ready for hurricane season yet because it's not even June. But the point of me showing you this and also tailoring on everything together, tightening everything together, is that this tropical system, believe it or not, is going to impact our weather heading into next week, because this moisture, as I kind of just discussed, everything out of Mexico is continuing to go northward from this low pressure system. And guess what? That helps fuel all of that tropical moisture. Despite it only being a tropical storm, that's still a lot of moisture into one little ball. That's going all the way northward into northern Texas and Oklahoma for Monday and Tuesday. That's coming into our neck of the woods here for the middle of next week. So kind of a cool lesson how Tropical Storm Alvin will be on our doorstep in the middle of next week. The point is, we're not getting rid of this rainy pattern anytime soon. Yes, we have a break, finally, at least for the next 2 days, but it's not going to last. So again, this will look locally at what it's looking like on our satellite picture. Thankfully, clearing out most of the cloud cover out of the northern half of the ArkLaTex, while the southern half is still staying a little gloomy here for the time being. So As of this afternoon, once you don't see any rain around, I think we're done here for the most part, which is good for the rest of today. Again, maybe a little lingering cloud cover into the afternoon, especially for the southern half of the ArkLaTex, but overall there should be blue sky, and most importantly, dry conditions here for the rest of today. Now, heading on into tomorrow, even the cloud cover lets loose out of the southern half of the ArkLaTex, and we're having a beautiful sunny day throughout Saturday with not a care about the rain until Sunday. It's almost first thing Sunday. Starting in the overnight hours and early morning hours, got a system that's rolling through McCurtain County in the northern edge of the ArkLaTex. That's going to look to push southward. This is looking to get into areas of I-30 around 5:30 in the morning. Almost a similar system to what happened this morning with a little cluster of storms likely to strike first the northern half of the ArkLaTex, and then it moves into the rest of the region for Sunday morning itself. This is around 7:30 in the morning where we have widespread showers across East Texas mainly. Some of those showers could still linger on as late as the late morning hours with maybe a brief few pop-up showers across East Texas here for Sunday afternoon. So it looks like East Texas is going to be getting the brunt force of this if this future track stands correctly. But I will say any nudge of that future track eastward, and that rain's coming right on top of Shreveport and the rest of the ArkLaTex, including southwestern Arkansas and northwest Louisiana. All right, so muggy meter. Thankfully, our muggy meter is dropping. Cold front comes on through. Not only does that drop the heat, that drops the humidity levels as well. Look at that. Nice, comfortable air here for the weekend, despite us starting to increase the temperatures. And guess what? Heat and summer humidity. For those of you who want it back so dearly, that's going to come back next week. Long-term future track. Again, kind of we demonstrated this in our satellite talk and kind of dived into the science of it all. But essentially what's happening is we're going over we're getting in lots of moisture in from the tropics here for the middle of next week. Now we have a little tiny system again hitting us for Sunday, yes. But then Monday and Tuesday roll around, maybe a brief shower if anything, and maybe a little bit of cloud cover, but overall we should stay dry up until Wednesday. That's when the tropical moisture and the next round, big round of storms hits us Wednesday night, and also heading into your Thursday too. Now, temperatures. I know I've been going over this for a lengthy amount of time. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. I need to take a water break. I did not expect to go to that whole dive of the satellite picture, but I hope you learned something. I hope you learned something about that tropical satellite picture because a lot of things going on way outside of the ArkLaTex that are influencing what's happening here next week. So, as we just discussed. But pretty cool, pretty cool. Hopefully you enjoyed it. But anyways, I'll be back with a look at your temperatures, 7-day forecast, and a regional check of your forecast outside of the ArkLaTex after I take a quick water break. I'll be back. All right, welcome back to the first weather breakdown. Let's get back into the forecast. Let's try to go, I wouldn't say a little more speedy over this, but let's go over the temperatures a little more just quickly. We always try to end here by 11 o'clock because I know you don't want to be here all day long. Neither do I. But anyways, the point is we have temperatures right now, 79 degrees, very toasty into Shreveport, actually, but otherwise, upper 60s and lower 70s still for the rest of the ArkLaTex, and that's the point. We're limiting how much we're warming up today based on our cold front that's continuing to roll on throughout the ArkLaTex. So it's going to be limiting, again, how much we warm up into this afternoon. So here's what's happening with the story. Again, we're cooling things down, but again, I still have the warm, word out there because it's not a cool day by any means. It's just warm and not hot. It's summer standards. And then I keep forgetting, the colors in the background always refresh right at the timing of this podcast. So the colors literally don't work for me at this podcast. Just, I think I mentioned this before. If you look at this temperature outlook, like when I pull up the colors on the map for the entire United States and just kind of pinpointed the ArkLaTex, if you look at this on any of the weather broadcasts or weather forecast that we do on KSLA News 12, this graphic always works. It always works. And then first look with the breakdown rolls around at 10:30, and it's like, oh, no, I'm asleep. Good night. Anyways, point is, the weather words still speak for themselves, though. It gets hot over the weekend, and it gets hot into next week. But we do have a cold front looming that's giving us, and again, our next major chance of rain, which could briefly cool things down at the end of next week. We'll see. But for now, the trend is, again, cooling down today before we heat up for the long-term period, at least through the 7-day forecast. 83 here today in Texarkana, 82 in New Boston. Just, these high temperatures are similar to what was around here for Wednesday, if you want to compare it to that. 80 in Marshall, 80 in Carthage, 80 in Center, 82 in Shreveport, 82 in Natchitoches. That's the hottest it gets for this afternoon. I know right now it's 79 in Shreveport, but the point is we're limiting how much, we're heating up later on today. For those of you missing out in the heat, I know it's been a cooler than average work week, but if you're dying to get back to the heat, which, not going to lie, I'm not, because, again, Memorial Day just passed. We're not even into June, and there's plenty of times for us to get onto the heat, and that's going to be also in store for us next week. That's me just preparing to wipe my face of sweat next week. Highs are back into the lower 90s by Monday, and that continues throughout much of next work week. Highs are in the upper 80s here for the weekend. Speaking of the weekend, here's again the thorough look at that weekend forecast. Again, some spotty storms are possible now for Sunday. Now, it's kind of unfortunate because all week long we've kind of been looking forward to a mostly beautiful Saturday and Sunday forecast. We were kind of like Sunday, if anything happens, it might be brief, might be stray, but looking, especially with the overnight weather models that came in here, 4 that are targeting towards Sunday now, the rain chances have slightly grown for Sunday now. That's why we kind of upticked the rain chance from, it was 20% yesterday for Sunday, now it's 30. As I said, the only reason I've upticked that is because I've noticed a good trend of more consistent rain showers forming, especially maybe even a little more widespread storms forming, especially in the morning hours of your Sunday across eastern Texas. Again, that's kind of the target area for those storms hitting mostly on Sunday. Still got a little bit of some drizzles to get through here for the rest of today, but I mean, if you don't see any rain outside your window right now, or if you're out right now listening to this and you don't have any rain falling on top of you, you're done. You're done. So don't worry there. Meanwhile, Saturday is beautiful. Sunday, just got to watch out for those few spotty storms. Monday and Tuesday, we're still holding both those days at a 20% rain chance, mainly because humidity is going to greatly increase in that day, and its models are trying to strike on maybe a brief pop-up afternoon shower or two. But overall, the next major round of storms, again, isn't likely to hit until somewhere around Wednesday and Thursday of next week. We'll keep you first alert about that the closer we get to that day. All right, so that was the full look at your forecast. Again, we already took commercial break, so we're going to go right into our regional forecast here real quick. And I know I'm running a little bit behind time, actually, because we got to skedaddle. I'm going to try to skedaddle around 11 o'clock here. That is the wrong thing. I clicked the wrong button twice. Hold up. Oh, boy. Hold up. I know, you're looking at your commute forecast, and you're looking at a camera of the studio. as I said earlier, this is for those of you who have stayed here the whole time. This is karma for me saying that I was going to get through this stream without any bumps or bruises because it's Friday, and sometimes that happens, and I'm on Friday brain. But I guess Friday brain rules today. I clicked the wrong set of graphics, though. That's the set of graphics that we use for our weather app. You should download if you don't have it, but kind of a cool little sneak peek into there. All right, I got the regional graphics out now. Talking about things happening regionally around the ArkLaTex. For those of you traveling outside for your ArkLaTex weekend, let's do this a little fairly quickly to get you out of here. Again, it almost looks like a fire hydrant's going off right on top of Texas. And that's giving us lots of moisture that's ongoing throughout most of southeastern Texas and a little bit out going into the rest of Louisiana because, again, we have a cold front that's ushering all this moisture from southeastern Texas southward. So that round of rain is going to move into areas like New Orleans, Jackson here for later today. So if you're traveling later today, may I not recommend off to your south or east because the rain from this morning is moving over in those directions. Meanwhile, Dallas and most of Arkansas should be clearing things up here by now. Here's how it looks on our radar. Got a little more potent storms in areas south of the ArkLaTex with even looks like a severe thunderstorm warning going off just south of Houston here. A couple showers and storms going off through Alexandria. Just a brief pop-up shower going through Mississippi. It's a weaker system for now on the northern half of this line. But we actually do have a significant chance of severe weather across the Carolinas and Georgia for this afternoon and tonight. From that same line that's moving almost into Atlanta at this time frame. But kind of going regionally, again, we mainly just talked about the forecast between Dallas, Houston, New Orleans, Jackson, and Little Rock. That's kind of our regional forecast that we kind of just want to tailor to. Let me zoom this map out for you to give you a future track throughout the rest of this region coming on through really quickly. Alrighty. So, again, for the rest of today, the storms are moving off to our east. So, for tonight, if you're traveling tonight already immediately after work, just watch out for showers and storms off to our south, especially towards Houston and to New Orleans. If you're going west, north, east, I think you should be fine. Then for Saturday, again, we're clearing up the entire ArkLaTex full of rid of wet weather. And it looks to be the same case here for the most part regionally. I guess, if anything, maybe southern Texas has a little bit of rain, but you can already see some of that moisture kind of wrapping around southern Texas into New Mexico and trying to get into a little corner of Oklahoma there for Saturday. That's kind of the little first round that tries to get in here, it looks like, for Sunday. Looks like Dallas in the overnight hours into Sunday is going to be dealing with those storms. Same thing for us in eastern Texas on Sunday morning. A few of those showers and storms could even pop up in Little Rock, too. During the day on Sunday, that round on Sunday morning across the ArkLaTex then goes down to Houston, and it's going to be nothing but afternoon rain showers here for your Sunday across Houston. So most of us, beautiful on Saturday. Sunday, just got to watch out for that little round of rain that affects East Texas and essentially most of Texas if you're going out to Texas here for the weekend. So let's see if what I just said comes to fruition just really quickly. Going over a forecast here for the rest of today in written terms. Sometimes you just need something directly put in front of you with just temperatures and conditions. So right now, it's raining on top of Monroe in Houston. Go figure. That's going to happen here, at least around Houston for a good portion of the rest of the day. Same thing around Monroe. New Orleans, it's not raining on top of you now, but you're getting rain showers here for tonight. Then heading into tomorrow, I believe all should be beautiful, which is going to be great. It's going to be the best day of the weekend, which is fantastic. I mean, usually traveling for, quick little weekend getaways on Friday and Sunday, and usually spending the full day somewhere on Saturday. So guess what? We're having no issues on Saturday. Sunday, though, going to watch out for a few spotty storms. It doesn't really show it on here, but a few spotty storms in areas like Dallas, Houston, and even in the ArkLaTex. That's where I'm watching out for maybe a few brief storms early on Sunday. We're talking mainly Sunday morning, maybe into Sunday night around Houston. We'll see. That's a look at your regional weekend forecast. We're out of time. We don't have to end technically at 11. I can go a little further, but we always try to end around 11. You get the point. Oh, man. It's been a Friday stream. We've gone over some bumps and bruises, but hey, I hope you learned some things, and I hope you learned big in-depth forecast for your weather. We're off for the next 2 days. This is only a weekday podcast here at First Alert Weather Breakdown. We have podcast, for those of you just joining for the very first time. We do this every single weekday, 10:30 a.m. go over the full forecast, and we go over some exclusive content. Today's exclusive content was taking a look at the weekend weather more in depth. Next week's exclusive content, specifically for Monday, when we will be back, we'll be taking a look at the tropics, because guess what? Not only do we have Tropical Storm Alvin in the Pacific that will definitely be disintegrated by the time we get into Monday. That's not the point. We'll take a look at anything else forms, because the start of the Atlantic tropical season is June the 1st, and that is on Sunday. So we're going to be doing a stream devoted directly to the tropics, how it's looking, how the setup is, what can we expect later down the road. We'll be talking about all things tropics on Monday. Second day of the Atlantical tropical season. CJ will be back for more streams next week as well. And we'll have more fun things in store that you'll have to stay tuned for next week. I think I went over everything. Have a great weekend. It's going to be mostly sunny. Just watch out for maybe a brief shower on Sunday. But besides that, rest of the day and all of tomorrow are looking great. Yeah, I think that all covers it. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you Monday, 10:30. Be there, be square, and most importantly, always stay weather aware. Have a great weekend. Cheers. I'll end it with that. Cheers to you. See ya.